It's Ali, your favorite eccentric SLO-mad, and today, you guys, I'm going on live talking to you about different ways to move about the world, and this specific new thing called a repositioning. It's not new, but it's new to me, called the repositioning cruise. And I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but if you have, please leave a comment, let me know if this is not new to you. I'd love to hear from you guys, and if you've taken one, let me know. But let's talk about a little bit about what's going on really quick, and then I'm going to get into what a repositioning cruise is and why it's beneficial. So, you know, a lot of folks are wanting to move, so this is like following in that series of how can you move about, travel more, relocate if that is your desire and interest. How can you kind of do that and start planning for a big change like that? And one of the things I hear people say, outside of, you know, Ali, everybody can't leave. Everybody can't get up and just go. Everybody's not like, yada, yada. For various reasons. Work, family, ties to, you know, where you are right now. Fear is a big one. Sometimes it's fear associated with moving. I want to go out of the country, but I'm afraid to fly. I don't want to fly. This video is going to give you an option to fly, because in some instances this is very possible and something to consider. Now I know right now, like in this period that we're in 2025, there's a lot happening, a lot of mishaps, a lot of different things that are all awry. So this is not to kind of diminish what's happening, to ignore what's happening. It is just to give you guys more options when you know, want to do something, but you feel like, you know, your natural instinct is to throw out everything that's negative, everything that's a reason why you can't. Oh, can't. This is not a astronomy thing, but my personality is problem solver. So I am a problem solver. I want to figure out how to answer a question, how to solve and create a solution for something. So that means that, like, not everything is going to be like this perfect one all be all fits for everybody. It just doesn't work that way, right? But you can't tell me that there is not one option, not one solution that would work for you. And if there is no option, then you don't want to do it. It's just that simple. You don't want to do it. And I understand that sometimes fear can be debilitating and can hold you. But if you want to do something bad enough, you will figure out how to beat that fear, how to manage it, and how to not let it control you. And that's things outside of what this video is going to talk about. But I want to go ahead and give you this option because y'all, so let me just give you a little background. I took a cruise years ago, I want to say 2014ish, I think, and I just knew I was going to be a career cruiser until I saw how much they charge single people. And I think I figured this out years ago when I wanted to take my son on a cruise, and then we looked at the Disney cruise, and the Disney cruise was like $3,500, and we ended up going to the same place for like $800 all inclusive. And I was like, that would be great, but like back then, I want to manage your money. Hey, hi, why? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Welcome. If you have taken a repositioning cruise or a cruise in general, please let me know. So anyway, that's when I realized that cruises for single people, there's like this penalty, which I'm also hearing that airlines do if you fly by yourself. Like, am I getting charged extra? And so on cruises, yes, because they are considered a double occupancy. And so when it's double occupancy, they're assuming that they're going to charge that rate for two people, meaning that if it's $800, they're expecting to get $1,600. So you're like, oh, this is a dope cruise for $450. No, it's $900 or $1,000, and they're allowing you to split it between someone or pay like it's 1.5 person to have a room by yourself. Anyway, it's the whole lingo on cruising. And so now some of the cruise lines have my laptop just bonked out, and was going to use that to get my information. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so let's see if I can just, okay, there we go. And so there's so many reasons why I ended up not becoming a career cruiser, but that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about this repositioning cruise. All right. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I have decided to start doing more lives because I can get the information to you guys, and I don't really worry about the editing and all that. I can just get you the information quickly. Okay, so let's talk about repositioning cruises. I'm gonna just read you the basic gist of a repositioning cruise. Is basically, it's a one-way cruise. So it's basically when a cruise line, a boat, a ship, a cruise liner needs to move from one location to another. And so basically it's a one-way, because cruises, it's a round trip kind of thing. So usually the ports you start at, you usually end at. Typically in the US, that's how it is. Some of them, they start in one place and end in another place, and that's what a repositioning cruise could potentially be. And so let's see if they actually give me like a good definition. It's basically one-off, one-way itineraries when ships sail across oceans or change seasonal home ports. So that's basically what it is. And this is one of the things that we are talking about, repositioning cruises. So for people who want to relocate, are thinking about moving abroad, starting a new life, or just wanting to go somewhere but don't like to fly, right? You're like, I really don't want to be on a 16-hour flight, 23-hour flight with a crappy layover, blah, 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 all this stuff. Well, this might be an option because it looks like they also offer itineraries along the way. What? Okay, so I'm on my laptop. I'm gonna give you guys a couple of options. So it looks like also there's quite a few cruise lines that do this as well. So Carnival is one, Celebrity, Princess, Royal Caribbean, Crystal, Costa, Silver, Viking. These are just a few. And one of the things that I'm learning about repositioning cruises is that a lot of times they have discounts on the cruise. I moved to Europe from America. I feel better and safer now. Yes. Where in Europe are you at? Because Europe is one of my faves. Remember that there are over 8 billion people on Earth. Don't let one person's negativity ruin your day. That's right. Even I don't know. Repositioning cruises. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna look this up because I'm seeing 75% off. Naples, Italy is one of the places that I do enjoy. I was in Naples. Well, it's actually been a year and a half, almost 2 years now, like 3 times in the span of like 2 months. In the span of 2 months. Hold on, you guys. Let me put on my do not disturb. All kinds of messages are popping up now. So I apologize for that. For the little beeps. So I can't show you right now because I'm not on like a share platform to make this video, since this is live on YouTube. I don't know if I could share my screen anyway, but they offer, like, there's a couple websites that I'm going to give you guys. One is called repositioningcruise.com, and they basically, I'm gonna look and see. So let's look at October 2025, which is usually when, say through January 2026, usually when hurricane season starts to dissipate in most places. We'll look at all cruise lines, all cruise ships. We'll do 7 nights, departing from any port, because let's just see what pops up. Let's see what the deal is, visiting where. So I just want to give you guys a quick idea of this, because I'm telling you, this is like the first time uh, that I've heard it mentioned this way. You know, I've heard of cruises to nowhere, but they still pick you up at a port and bring you back to the same port, where basically you go out into the middle of the Atlantic or the Pacific Ocean and you sit for 3 days. It's like a way to get away. Um, No, I'm talking about repositioning cruises, which is a cruise that if you're wanting to move from one place to another and you don't want to fly, you can take a cruise, a one-way cruise. That's what the video is about. Repositioning cruises, y'all. I know y'all understand that. Which is really awesome. I'm actually just trying to get one of my pages to load that offers repositioning cruises like Norwegian Cruise Line, just so you guys can kind of get an idea. But I'm having some issues with some loading here, and I'm not quite sure why. But let me just put it like this. If you go and you search on Google or whatever search platform you use and just type in repositioning cruises or one-way cruises, let's see if they list them another way. If you type that, it'll pull up a number of options and websites that actually offer repositioning cruise, like Princess Cruise Line, repositioning cruise line websites, Carnival's repositioning cruise. There's actually so many, and it's on pause loading. Let's see if it actually. I was just looking at all these. I don't know if it's like, yes, ma'am, slow down. I was doing too much or whatever. But there's actual itineraries that you can that you get with your cruise package. So it's not like, you know, you're just taking a boat across the water like a ferry, right? Even the ferry has, you know, stops along the way. They don't stop long, like 5 minutes in and out, because I've taken tons of ferries around Italy and Greece. Tons of ferries between Italy and Albania and the islands of Greece, going to like Crete from Athens to Rhodes. I actually did a 16-hour ferry from Athens over to Rhodes, the overnight ferry. And so you'll see that, but it's not that. These are like some cruises that actually have itineraries stopping in different places, but the final stop is, you know, this particular location, whatever particular location, you know, destination that you want to stop at. The time here is 11:30 a.m. 11:30 a.m. where I am. So I'm going to pick a, I wanted to pick a European. Let's see. Let's pick an Asian destination from the US. I'm interested to see, because so many people are wanting to come to Thailand or Singapore. I know Singapore has a number of different cruises and things that port in and out. So let's look at their ports of call. So you can sail from Australia, Singapore, Sydney. I don't see anything that's sailing from the US here. So you got to kind of get close in proximity, it looks like, maybe. So let's say you're sailing from Australia, which means that you'd have to get to Australia, which is that's not really helpful. So I want to find, this is on Carnival, I'm trying to find a cruise that allows me to leave from a port in the US and pop over to Asia. Pop over, right? You know, And maybe that's too far. I don't know. I've never gone that far. So sail to Asia from, oh yeah, they only go from Australia. So that's not very helpful. So let's say Europe from only Barcelona, England. So you got to get to like England, but how do you get to England if you don't want to fly? There's got to be. Let's see. Canada and New England from, ooh, New York, okay, or Virginia. Let's pick Manhattan, New York City is where we're flying from, or where we're departing from, and we want to go to New England or Canada. And then from there, you can figure out. Then once you get to like the UK, you can take a ferry with a car over. There's so many different options. And I know some people are like, why not just fly? Some people truly have a fear of flying, and I totally get it. And that's why I am sharing this information, because this may be a new option for you guys. So here's a couple cruises, $619 average. That's a low price from, and this is just a basic cruise. So for whatever reason, it's not pulling up my one wayers. And then this is a question that I probably will ask someone who has done this one way before or taken cruises. What happens if you take a cruise and you just decide, I'm going to get off at a port and not go the whole way around? Can you do that? Can you do that? So, give me a second, you guys. This is going to be a working live. I thought I would be able to pull up actual cruises, but it is giving me a difficult time with pulling them up without speaking with an agent. And I don't want to speak with an agent. I just want to see some repositioning cruises. Anyway, I think I'll come back and post some of those, because I'm not quite sure why it's not pulling up more of those examples of one way cruises. But I will share in my links some websites. Like the repositioning cruise is good, but they send you the information after you submit what you're looking for, rather than allowing you to see it all online, right? I just want to see it. I just want to see some options to kind of share. That's what I was looking for, and it's not giving me those options. It's giving me like a range, $789, but they email you. I don't want that. I just want to see some of the options. And then one of the things I want to also mention to you guys is if you're looking at options like this, any kind of transportation, also make sure you look at discounts, potential discounts for travel, like age discounts. I'm starting to get to that age where I'm not AARP yet, but I'm getting close to where, they start to give discounts for people over 50, over 55. I haven't hit 55 yet, but the over 55, they have military discounts. Don't forget that. Even military for families, they have EMT discounts, firefighter discounts. I'm actually seeing something for singles. They have past guest discounts, teacher discounts as well. So you guys, look at some of these. There's multiple, and police discounts. So look at some of these options, because there may be a way for you to get some discounted rates for your transportation. So don't leave anything out, especially if you are budgeting, or you want to see what are some of the price ranges, right? So I'm not going to be able to give you all of those, because I'm not going to click on all of those, but it's really nice to see that there's some discount options available, even if it's 10 to 20% off. That's a big deal for $700,000 plus transportation, right? So check it out. Okay, so that is what I'm gonna share with you guys today. Come back because I'm gonna do some more of these little pop-up things for you guys on live video, and see who has experienced some of these ways of moving about. If you are a person who is looking to relocate, please comment, leave a comment and let me know where you'd like to go, and or if you have already departed, whatever country. But if it's the US, that's really helpful for my listeners and viewers from the US, where you went, because I want to also point out, I've been traveling for a while, so a lot of times people think that it's very easy for me to talk about moving around, because I've been moving around for the last 5 years full time, and I want to give a different perspective, that there are other people doing this and living this life, or were living this life way before me. When I meet people who have been out here for 20 something years, and then also people who are doing it and weren't in that line of work, weren't in the military. I'm meeting a lot of people who are in the military who it's natural for them to move about. Not everybody's a military, kid, or have military family and have that experience. Some people are just regular people who are working 9 to 5s, and you're ready to cold turkey cut the umbilical cord and move about. And so please share your experience and or where you move from, Andaman to US. That's where you move from, or where you want to move from. Which is the island off the Bay of Bengal. So I've never heard of it. You want to go from Andaman to the U.S.? I'm not quite sure what that comment is, but it looks like it's an island I've never been to, and never even researched. So anyway, I hope this is helpful in just giving you other options to consider when you are looking at how to move about, so that you aren't limiting yourself to what you can't do because you think that there's only one way to do it. Okay? Let me just add this really quick, because this is a misconception in the US, and I feel like I probably need to state this. In the US, we can travel on cruises that port from a US port, depart from a US port and return to a US port without a passport. One of the things that they were changing is that everybody has to have a passport to even cruise, but cruises are still one of those that, depending, like if you're going to the Caribbean and stuff, you can get away with just having an ID, a state ID, a US ID, and as long as you're coming in and out, you're okay to a US port. If you're considering a one-way, a repositioning cruise from the US to, a different country, you need to make sure you have your passport. And quick tip, something to always keep in mind, make sure you have more than 6 months validity on your passport. Make sure, and I've shown this before, I don't have my passport right in front of me, but, oh, yeah, I don't have my passport right in front of me. That'll be a video for another time. But make sure that your pages are visa pages, and it'll say that on the top. I'm pointing like the passport's in front of me. It'll say that on the top of the page. It'll say whether it's a visa page or the last few pages of your passport book are blank. And those are for different types of stamps or notations and things like that from immigration. So I'm not sure that they count those pages. And a lot of times they say you have to have 1 or 2 empty pages plus 6 months before expiration wherever you're going. I'm going to tell you right now, if you are talking about about taking, relocating somewhere, and you know you're planning to relocate and not come back to the States for, months on end, renew your passport. If it's about to expire within a year or in the next year, go ahead and consider renewing your passport before you get up and leave. And that's one less thing that you have to worry about, one less thing you have to worry about coming back to the United States, especially if you're taking, 5, 6 things of luggage, and you are going on the boat, and you don't want to fly. Like, you don't necessarily want to have to do this a couple of times if you don't have to. So go ahead and get those types of things in order. More to come on ways to position yourself so that you can leave the United States, or any other place that you're planning to leave, but specifically the United States, because that's my experience where I set sail from, so to speak, and so I can speak a little bit more soundly and confidently about moving about from the U.S. So just one of the things I just wanted to share, because a lot of times that's one of the things that, being in the States, we have this this comfort zone, this comfort area about being able to move about in certain areas in the past without having a passport. So strongly encourage, get your passport, especially if in the back of your mind you want to potentially relocate. And we're also going to talk about, check out some of the videos, we're going to talk about where you can go, check my shorts too, where you can go to that you can have dual citizenship. So you work in the U.S., or you've got ties to the U.S., or you're staying in the U.S., you're still going to be paying taxes in the U.S., but you want to go somewhere else and you're considering citizenship somewhere else. There are places that we can go that currently allow, or don't penalize you, or don't make you give up your citizenship somewhere, especially prematurely. You don't necessarily want to do that. The other thing I'm going to strongly encourage you guys to consider, as you're moving around and you're figuring out where you want to go, is don't worry about citizenship right at the beginning. Consider long-term visa stays and residency, because you can have residencies and long-term visa stays legally, do it legally, without citizenship. Like, citizenship isn't totally a necessary thing until you know you are established and want to stay in a place, and you want to contribute to things like voting, and different things depending on the country. Because land ownership is not always, citizenship is not required in a lot of places for land ownership. Just a little tip, you guys, a little side note. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Just wanted to throw that option out. If you are considering moving about and you do not like flying, consider looking up repositioning cruises. All right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. Y'all know the drill. Toodles and noodles. Peace and hair grease.